Good morning, everybody. We'll call to order our May 21st, 2019 regular meeting of the Mason County Board of Commissioners. Begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. Jeremy, please lead us.
Absolutely. Please join me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And moving on to item number 3, if the clerk could please take roll.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Kevin Schutte.
Here.
Commissioner District 3, Sharon Trask.
I'm here.
Very good, thank you. Item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. Item 4.1, if the clerk would please report the correspondence.
B. Dean Bird, Kevin Sweat, Patrick Tarswell, excuse me, Ted Drogmond, and Theodore Ted Jackson sent in applications for the Civil Service Commission. Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board sent a liquor license application for Mason General Hospital Foundation for an event being held at Alderbrook Golf and Yacht Club, 330 East Country Club Drive in Union. And Martin Roswald sent in comments about fireworks.
Very good, thank you. Item 4.2, we have a presentation of their certificate of good practice. I'd ask Commissioner Netherland to please read their certificate, and then he'll present it to our county engineer.
There she is. Hi. All right, it has been transmitted to the State Treasurer on behalf of Mason County 2018. Pursuant to the authority contained in RCW 36.78.090, and in recognition of the fact that this county has submitted to the Department of Transportation or to this board all reports required by law or regulation of the board, and has reasonably complied with provisions of the law relating to the county road administration and the standards of good practice as formulated and adopted by the board. By resolution of the County Road Administration Board is a presentation of the Certificate of Good Practice to Mason County Roads, Public Works. Got it done before you can snap that picture. See that? You think that was an accident? No.
Just glad to have you here, Commissioner.
Very good, thank you. And now item 4.3, we have a proclamation for National Public Works Week, and ask Commissioner Trask to please present the proclamation.
National Public Works Week, May 19th through May 25th. Whereas National Public Works Week is celebrated across the country the third week of May every year to call attention to the importance of public works projects, programs, and services in our communities. Whereas the Public Works Department provides many services in our community that are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, the support of an understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of the county transportation and utility infrastructure. Whereas safety and comfort of this community greatly depends on these facilities and services, and the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, construction, and maintenance, it is vitally dependent upon the dedicated effort and skills of the Public Works staff. Therefore, be it proclaimed by the Mason County Board of Commissioners, the week of May 19th through the 25th is National Public Works Week, and we commend the dedicated Public Works staff members who daily contribute through their efforts to make Mason County a safe and comfortable place to reside and visit and conduct work. Dated this 21st day of May 2019.
Very good, thank you. And just on behalf of the Commission, thank you to Public Works for all the work that you do year-round, and we're very grateful for it. And it's funny that they call it a certificate of good practice, because in order to get a certificate of good practice, you have to have like excellent practice, and we certainly get that from our Public Works Department. So please, thanks for everybody. Thank you. And item 4.4, we have a news release on burn restrictions, and I ask Jeremy Hicks to come forward.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Jeremy Hicks, Community Development. News release for you to consider and sign today for the upcoming burn restrictions. I'll read in the record for you. Countywide burn restrictions effective 0800 Thursday, May 23rd, 2019 until further notice. Mason County Community Services Fire Marshal, in partnership with the Mason County Fire Chiefs Association, has determined the current weather conditions within the county have created substantial fire dangers, and that there is a need to enact restrictions on outdoor burning on all lands regulated by Mason County. These burn restrictions apply to land clearing fires and residential debris fires. Recreational fires in designed concrete, stone, or metal fire pit like those commonly found in campgrounds are still permitted, as well as the use of charcoal briquettes, gas, and propane barbecues. Lands protected by Department of Natural Resources may have different restrictions. To find out more on this, or to determine if you're in the Department of Natural Resources area, visit www.dnr.wa.gov or call DNR South Puget Sound Region at 360-825-1631. Recreational fires must be built in must be built in a metal or concrete fire pit, such as those commonly found in designated campgrounds, and not be used for debris disposal. Be located in a clear spot free from any vegetation, or at least 10 feet in any horizontal direction, including at least 25 feet away from any structure, and allow 20-foot vertical clearance. Grow no larger than 3 feet in diameter. Be attended at all times by an alert individual and equipped with fire extinguishing equipment, a shovel, 5-gallon bucket, or water with a connected charged water hose. Completely extinguish fires by pouring water or moist soil in them and stirring with a shovel until the parts are cool to the touch. The use of self-contained camp stoves is encouraged as an alternative. No burning when the winds exceed 5 miles per hour. For further information, please contact the Mason County Burn Ban Information Line at 360-427-7799. Board of Mason County Commissioners.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay, our next item is item number 5. It's our open forum for citizen input. If there's a member of the public that would like to address the commission on items that are not on today's agenda, they can come forward. The chair will recognize them. We do have a 3-minute per person, 15-minute total time limit that we try to adhere to. So just be aware of that as you come forward to make public comment. Anybody for public comment? Lonnie?
Hello, my name is Monty Ritter, 538 Maple Street. A couple weeks ago, I came in front of this board and I tried to point out how the public benefit rating system could be used as a funding mechanism to create trails and recreational opportunities in Mason County. And I know it's a little bit difficult to see the path, but I brought in the Mason County Comprehensive Parks and Trails Plan from 2013, which has in it on Chapter 7 the funding mechanisms that are currently available for parks and trails. And I'd like to point out that under the funding mechanism from the feds, we have the availability of using what they call the Land and Water Conservation Fund. It is this program is administered in Washington State by the Recreation and Conservation Office. The Recreation and Conservation Office is responsible for providing large funding sources, 50% match, sizable amount of the funding that would be used for creating trails and parks. What we don't have is we don't have any trails, so obviously none of these funding mechanisms have been used because we don't have any trails, so we don't have the right way of using these funding mechanisms. And one of the things they say that is required would be to operate and maintain in perpetuity as a requirement for receiving some of these federal and state monies. Therefore, what we have in the public benefit rating system is a method for $500 of inexpensively allowing people to place a portion of their property into a perpetual easement agreement, which would satisfy the requirements from the Recreation and Conservation Office. The Recreation and Conservation Office puts grant money available out every 2 years, every even year on May 31st. So, and then grants that are considered are put in front of the governor. The governor decides which ones meets the criteria, and he sends that forward to the state in order for the state to approve the funding of which projects meet their requirements. Therefore, in order to receive funds, or in order to make it possible for citizens to place property into a perpetual agreement that the state would recognize for 3 years while the state is going through its motion, we can't have the current system which says that people should just donate property straight to the county if we want to put a trail through it, because the property needs to be donated at the time the Recreation and Conservation Office can use it as a match, instead of the county coming up with funds from the general fund in order to pay for their side of their portion of the project. If people are allowed to donate property at the appropriate time, then that property donation actually qualifies as a match from the county's portion of what is needed to do the construction. I'm not quite sure if right now we don't do that. We can't do that because we don't have a way of allowing people to guarantee that property will be in a perpetually placed agreement. And the only way we can do that would be something like a public benefit rating system, which has a perpetual easement portion in it, which would satisfy the requirement from the feds to have a perpetual operation. And they need to know that at the start. It needs to be there for the progression of the grant cycle. And the only way I really see it is the opportunity we have afforded by approving a public benefit rating system. And I think I covered pretty much everything that I needed to. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Cheryl, did you have?
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm here to announce the League of Women Voters meeting. Now, it's normally this afternoon, but tonight we're having it at the PUD on Johns Prairie. It starts at 6 p.m. and we're going to have a public forum on mental health in the criminal justice system. It's a very important, very timely topic. The panel is going to be Jim Madsen from the Juvenile Probation and Court Services, Marilyn Roberts, who's the president of NAMI, I think I'm saying that right, the National Alliance on Mental Illness, Mark Friedman, who's from the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization, and Abe Gardner, who's from the Community Services Outreach. And I think it's going to be kind of a question-answer thing. I'm not really sure how it's going to work, but 6 o'clock p.m. tonight at the PUD, number 3.
Great, thank you. Ken?
Good morning, Commissioners. I wasn't going to talk about PBRS, but I'm kind of driven to speak about it. If I might, you've tasked the county assessor to come back to you in July, I think, and just report what the situation is. And I would hope that you defer most of your decision making till she can get back to you on that. I personally think that the open space program is working just fine. But the main reason I wanted to talk to you this morning is I've been following the wildland fire forecast pretty closely, and I know you folks have been briefed about it as well. And I saw the correspondence that was sent to you from the person about fireworks and concerned about fireworks. The Kitsap County Commissioners are holding a public hearing towards the end of this month, and I just thought it might be appropriate if one of you attended that hearing or sent your staff to it to just see what's going on.
Time,
I,
time of day?
I'm not certain, I think
I'll
it's
find
May 29th, but I think our neighbors are holding a hearing on it, and it might behoove us to do the same thing here in this county. So, thank you very much.
Anyone else for public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to item number 6, which is adoption of today's agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda for today, May 21st.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda for May 21st. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And the motion carries. Item number 7, approval of minutes. We have May 6, 2019 briefing minutes, and April 16th and 23rd, and May 14th, 2019 regular meeting minutes.
Mr. Chair, I move for the approval of the minutes of May 6, 2019 briefing minutes, April 16th, April 23rd, and May 14th, 2019 regular meeting minutes as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the May 6, 2019 briefing minutes, April 16th, April 23rd, and May 14th, 2019 regular meeting minutes as presented. Any additional discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the motion carries. Moving on to item number 8, it's approval of our action agenda. Commissioners will read through the items on today's action agenda, at which time a commissioner or a member of the public may ask to have a item removed for a separate discussion and vote. Commissioner Netherland, if you'd please take items 8.1 through 3, Commissioner Trask 8.4 through 7, and I will take the remainder.
Gladly. Commissioner, item number 8.1, approval to execute a resolution to close Harstein Bridge Road at milepost 000 to milepost 0.607 on Friday, June 14th, 2019 from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Item number 8.2, approval to authorize the chair to execute a County Road Administration Board CRAB Rural Arterial Program RAP contract with North Shore Road Great Bend CRAB project number 2319-01 and Old Belfer Highway CRAB project 2319-02. Item number 8.3, approval of the chair to execute the County Road Administration Board Rural Arterial Program prospectus amendment number 1, increasing the RATA funding to $500,000 for CRP 1995 North Shore Road Katy Creek Culvert Replacement Project.
Item 8.4, approval of a resolution for County Road Project number 2020 Old Belfair Highway, and approval to authorize the chair to sign all pertinent documents and authorize the Public Works County Engineer to advertise, set bid dates and times, and award contract. Item 8.5, approval of the resolution for County Road Project number 2021 North Shore Road, and authorize the chair to sign all pertinent documents and authorize the Public Works County Engineer to advertise, set bid dates, times, and award contract. Item 8.6, approval of warrants and treasurer electronic remittances. Claims Clearing Fund, warrants number 806-4195 through 806-4886 in the amount of $468,774.04. Direct Deposit Fund, warrants number 58699 through 59082 in the amount of $655,918. Salary Clearing Fund, warrants number 704403 through 7004439 in the amount of $924,397.80. And item 8.7, approval to reappoint Lodging Tax Advisory Committee members for a term ending May 31st, 2019. Generators, Jake Geist, Sean Tucker as alternate, Nate Welch. Spenders, Stephanie Rowland, Heidi McCutcheon, Dwayne Wilson.
Item 8.8, approval to appoint Deborah Bratz to the office of Mason County Cemetery District Number 1, Board of Commissioners, Position 3, for a 6-year short and full term. Item 8.9, approval to amend Resolution 137-98, increasing the harvest permit fee from $5 to $20 each, and implementing a new service to laminate concealed pistol licenses, CPLs, for $2 beginning July 1st, 2019. Item 8.10, approval of the oath of inventory pursuant to RCW 36.32.210 and Mason County Code Chapter 3.56. Items 8.11 and 12 have been stricken. Item 8.13, approval of the Mason County Park Host contract with Nicholas and Brianna Halverson for Mason Lake Park. This contract is good through December 31st, 2020, and can be extended additional years with agreement from both parties. And item 8.14, approval to authorize Public Works to amend and allow the county engineer to sign the agreements for cultural resource services. The amendment increases the maximum payout from $20,000 to an amount not to exceed $40,000. Commissioners, having read through the items on today's action agenda, are there any items you'd like to be removed for a separate discussion or vote? Okay. Members of the public, any items that you would like to have removed for a separate discussion and vote? Ken?
Item 8.2 and item 8.4 in regards to the Old Belfair Highway.
Okay. To be removed for a separate vote, correct?
And discuss.
Right, okay, okay. Okay, any other items for members of the public to have removed? Okay, having removed item 8.2 and item 8.4, commissioners, I would entertain a motion.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the action agenda as presented with the exception of item number 8.2 and 8.4, which will be removed for a separate vote.
A second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the items on today's action agenda with the exception of item 8.2 and item 8.4, which will be removed for a separate discussion and vote. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the motion carries. Moves us to item 8.2, approval to authorize the chair to execute a county road administration board CRAB Rural Arterial Program RAP contract for North Shore Road, Great Bend, CRAB project number 2319-01 and Old Belfair Highway, CRAB project number 2319-02. And ask Diane, our county engineer, to come forward and just do a quick briefing on this, and if we have any questions.
So the county regularly applies for funds through the CRAB board. Their rural arterial program projects. We have our TIPCAP group that helps us select projects over the next 6 years that we'd like to build. Projects are selected based on points. So this was one of the projects that the county has applied for and CRAB would like to fund. And there is a remaining portion of the project that is unfunded, but the county can seek additional funding as well. So the remainder is not solely county funds would be the likelihood. So any questions?
Yeah, if you could just describe the two projects.
Oh, sure. And yes, so the North Shore Road project is a culvert replacement at Great Bend, and it's a undersized culvert that will be a fish passage barrier replacement. And Old Belfair Highway is a 0.4 miles of realignment near Northeast McKellar Road.
Commissioners, any other questions for staff? Okay. Any questions from the public for staff?
I do, Diane, if I could, I know 8.2 and 8.4 are related, but I guess most of my questions resolve around 8.4. If the commissioners decide to delay approving 8.4, does that affect 8.2?
Yes.
So,
We need to have a project. We need a CRP.
okay, so what, let me, I
funds.
guess I'll defer my questions to 8.4 then. I just wasn't quite sure how that'll work. Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner.
Are you worried that, are you requesting that we have the vote for 8.4 first, then the vote for 8.2?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so, okay, so we can table 8.2 if there's no objection from the commission to table 8.2. Okay.
For
And
10
then-
5 minutes or something.
And then, until there's a vote and discussion on 8.4. So we'll move on to item 8.4, approval of a resolution for County Road Project number 2020, Old Belfair Highway, and approval to authorize the chair to sign all pertinent documents and authorize the Public Works County Engineer to advertise, set bid dates, times, and award contract. And I would ask County Engineer to come forward again.
Thank you, Chair Schutte and Commission. So 8.4 creates the CRP numbers and approves us to sign pertinent documents. The first document that we would need to sign for this would be for the County Road Administration Board RAP funds. And as Ken had asked about if we need both, we generally speaking need to have a CRP project number set up so that we can do the proper reporting on projects that have grant funds, and so that we have a project number associated with those grant funds. So we can bill to the project as well.
Okay, any questions for staff from the commission? Okay, any questions for staff from the public?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Dan, what's the proposed start date on this project?
So these funds we need to sign for by June 14th, but we don't receive funds until 2020.
Okay, 2020.
These are 2020 funds.
Why is it designed for 50 miles an hour?
For Old Belfair Highway?
For that portion that's being, that 0.4 miles. The speed limit on either side is 45, and it's 35 even closer. I was curious why it was designed at 50.
I might need to get back with you
Oh,
and have
yeah.
a bigger conversation about the entire project. But generally speaking, we try to design for a higher speed than what's posted, just to have better sight distance, and because, as you know, some people do speed. So the general design speed in the past has always been that we would design about 5 miles per hour over the posted speed. There is, amongst the engineering community, some discussion about changing that to actually design for the posted instead. And then, of course, if we do speed limit changes, we always look at the 85th percentile and the mean speeds
And
that are
that
driven.
would be cheaper, wouldn't it, to design it for a lower speed?
That depends. For actual construction, it could be for, because you could have different radiuses and less sight distance. But when we talk about safety and we talk about costs of collisions and other things, I mean, that's a much larger question of
Okay.
when we talk about cost. Like if we talk about overall and life cycle costs, or if we're just talking about just construction costs.
And my last question, the culvert mentioned in the project, is that on Courtney Creek or is it on the Union River?
It is, here I have a picture here. Right by Patton Drive.
No, that's the North Shore,
That's Katy Creek.
that's not the Old Belfair Highway.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought when you said culvert, it got
No,
me onto
it
the
mentioned
other.
the culvert in the
project.
8.4 project as well, and I was curious where that's at.
I actually am not familiar with this one. So my apologies, I was not at the county yet when we applied for this grant, so this one I'm not as familiar with now that we've received the grant.
Okay, well, thank you. I'll
But I can
address it
meet
in
with
my question.
you
Okay, thank you.
offline if you like.
Okay.
Great. Okay, any other questions for staff? Okay, hearing none, I'll open public comment. If you'd like to make comment, Joe.
Thank you, Commissioners. The resolution along with this adoption declares that this project is a public necessity. And I strongly urge you to delay approval of this project. I personally believe our county road dollars could be better spent on addressing the level of service of the Old Belfair Highway and the unmet transportation elements of the 2003 sub-area plan that are in the urban growth area instead of outside the urban growth area, which this project is. It's a far greater necessity. If you do elect to approve this, I wanted to bring you a copy of the county's map. I made a copy of this morning. The culvert for, you see the little blue line on the map, that is the county's depiction of where Courtney Creek is, and it's wrong. And I've attempted to tell the county this for quite some time, that the hydrology layer in the county's GIS system is not correct. It actually crosses the Old Belfair Highway in the vicinity of Christina Way. You see right there in the middle of the project area, and then it connects to the Union River. This project, I believe, is within the buffer of that fish-bearing stream, Courtney Creek, and it's also to the right of the project area. You see the FEMA map that was recently adopted by the county, and I think the lower end of that might impact that flood area as well. So I just encourage you to rethink approving this, perhaps delay it until some of these things can be sorted out. So that's my testimony. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Ken. Any other public comment on item 8.4? Any other public comment?
I want to make one clarifying comment about the urban versus rural, is that this program through CRAB is the rural arterial program. We are able to receive urban funds through the surface transportation program, and so that's a program where we can spend in the urban areas, and this program is the rural arterial program. So if that helps.
Diane, just a quick question. So to Ken's point about addressing some of the capacity issues on Old Belfair Highway and some of the other, that's, as we look at the 6-year tip in particular, are there projects on there or projects being considered that may, and if you don't have that information in front of you, that's
I do. I have, yeah.
You may carry the 6-year tip around.
I do. I actually
But,
do.
if there are any projects on there.
So we have our programmatic preservation, which would not look at capacity. We have our programmatic safety, where we do look at the safety issues, and then we have one more. And then we have the old, this Old Belfair Highway project was a 1.2 to 1.6. And this one was in the 6-year program for the 4th through the 6th year. And then we had the Old Belfair Highway, the sidewalk project that is complete. So the Old Belfair Highway area is one of the topics of discussion with TIPCAP, and now that the sidewalk is funded and the Old Belfair Highway, this project is funded, I imagine, I can't guarantee, but that there would be future discussions about what the next steps are for improvements on Old Belfair Highway. It's hard to do the whole thing all at one time. There's not a lot of projects there's not a lot of ways to fund entire projects to do the whole thing, so we end up doing piece by piece.
Sure. So, on the cover sheet for this, for item 8.2, it says that these were ranked number 21 and 24 on the 6-year tip. Is that The
This,
culvert and the,
Old Belfair Highway is priority, number 24. There's 25 items, on the tip, and the culvert, I believe, is 20 or 21. It is item 21.
and were these, it'd be hard to be ranked necessarily higher, or, you know, 24 out of 25, but were these the highest ranked that would be eligible for these funds?
For RAP funds. So our first three are always programmatic, and then we have countywide small capital projects, which is, so the first four priorities are always just things that come up that need to be done or funding that becomes available. And then we have a clear zone project, which is already funded by HSIP. We've got a lot of the projects ahead of it are actually already funded. We have RAP funds and fish barrier removal board funds. So, yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, here, do you have something new to say?
I do.
Okay.
I failed to elaborate just how bad the Old Belfair Highway is failing currently. And if this project goes ahead and starts work on 2020, I think you're gonna have a whole lot of phone calls, and you better beef up the budget for some public relations, because it backs up every evening all the way to McKnight right now. And if you go to do this project, it's gonna be a real mess. Just thought I'd better let you know.
Sure. Do you have any recommendations on how many lanes?
How many lanes?
to make Old Belfair Highway have?
No, I think the biggest thing that could happen to improve the thing is to do something with the four-way intersection with SR 300 and the Old Belfair Highway. That would be my main recommendation. And you know, I don't know. I know that that's a fish-bearing stream, and I don't know that it's been identified in the project. The stream's obviously not depicted in the right location, so I think you'd want to address that before you send it out for contractors to look at the project. So, thank you.
Great, thanks, Ken. Okay, any other public comment? Okay, hearing none, I'll close the public comment portion and move to commissioner deliberation or a motion on item 8.4.
Conversation first before the motion. I would love to work on capacity issues on the Old Belfair Highway, but currently that's not on our roster at all. I think we should look at it. The intersection there would have to be done in conjunction with a partnership with the state of Washington, as we both know, because we don't own that. As for the capacity down where that would occur, there is no way to change that really without widening and making more roads through there, which we'd run into a roadblock as soon as we hit Kitsap County as well. But the amount of money that it would take to do something like that for that many miles, I can't even begin to understand how we could even come up with that kind of money to do such a project. But as for, I will agree that intersection has to be adjusted, but I don't think one has to do with the other. So with that, I'll make a motion to approve item number 8.4, approval of resolution, County Roads Project 2, 2020, Old Belfair Highway, and approval to authorize the chair to sign all pertinent agreements and authorize Public Works County Engineer to advertise, set bid dates, and award contract.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve item 8.4, approval of a resolution for County Road Project number 2020, Old Belfair Highway, and approval to authorize the chair to sign all pertinent documents and authorize the Public Works County Engineer to advertise, set bid dates, times, and award contract. Any additional discussion?
Just one comment, perhaps we can all agree as a commission to bring that forward, and let's have a conversation about that intersection and what can maybe be done about it. I don't know that the whole time I've been here, it's always been such a big project. I think we've always just stayed away from it. Maybe it's time to at least have that conversation and see what can come out of it.
Yeah, I concur. I think, it might be ripe.
Yeah.
For that
If you don't ask, the answer's no, right? So.
Well, now that we got the sidewalk in, we'll
We're ready.
make intersection improvements there. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, and the motion carries. Moving on to, or back to item 8.2, approval to authorize the chair to execute a county road administration board CRAB Rural Arterial Program RAP contract for North Shore Road, Great Bend, CRAB project number 2319-01, and Old Belfair Highway CRAB project number 2319-02. We've already had staff brief it, so if we're comfortable with that briefing, we can move into public comment. If there's anybody for public comment, come forward and the chair will recognize you. Okay. No public comment. Okay, we will close the public comment period and move to commissioner deliberation or a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve item 8.2, to authorize the chair to execute a County Road Administration Board CRAB Rural Arterial Program RAP contract for North Shore Road, Great Bend, CRAB project 2319-01, and Old Belfair Highway CRAB project 2319-02.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve item 8.2, to approval to authorize the chair to execute a County Road Administration Board CRAB Rural Arterial Program RAP contract for North Shore Road, Great Bend CRAB project number 2319-01, and Old Belfair Highway CRAB project number 2319-02. Any additional discussion? I'll just say I think the comments about our hydraulic layer on GIS is well taken, and perhaps Diane can go back to GIS and have a conversation about that as this gets underway. Maps are imperfect at times, and sometimes human error is a part of that, and so appreciate you bringing that forward, and if we can correct it, and we will take a look.
But I do hope they don't put a culvert where there's no stream.
That too. The culvert to nowhere, as it were, yeah. Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, and the motion carries. Having moved through our action agenda, we'll move on to item 9, other business. Any department heads or elected officials who would like to address the commission? Seeing none, move on to item number 10. We have a public hearing, 10.1, to consider the sale of parcels 32021-56-02001, parcel number 32021-55-02011, and parcel number 32021-56-02001. Ask staff to please brief.
Thank you, Commissioners. As you mentioned, this is a public hearing to consider the sale of 3 parcels. 2 of the 3 parcels in the counteroffer to set a public hearing did not countersign the counteroffer, so those 2 are off the table, and we have only 1 parcel that we are asking for authority to sell, and that would be parcel number 32021-56-02001, and that is in the amount of $5,000. There were $2,939 of outstanding debt on that parcel, and we had originally bid it at $5,000, so it's at a $5,000 offer.
Okay, any questions for staff, commissioners? Any questions from the public for staff? Okay, hearing none, we'll move into the public comment period. If you'd like to make comment on item 10.1, raise your hand, the chair will recognize you, and you can make comments at the podium. Any public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll close the public comment period and move to commissioner deliberation or motion.
Mr. Chair, I move for approval to sell parcel number 32021-56-02001 to Jenna M. Moore for the amount of $5,000.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve to sell the parcel 32021-56-02001 to Jenna M. Moore in the amount of $5,000. Any additional discussion? Okay, hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, and the motion carries. Moving on to item number 11, our board reports and calendar. I'll get us started. Commissioner Netherland, if you'd go second, and then we'll finish with Commissioner Trask. Pretty light calendar. Just one thing I'd like to point out from last week was the Early Learning Awards ceremony that was held at the Colonial House by the Early Learning Coalition, a great collaborative of folks that come together to support early learning efforts in the county. There were 2 awards given out. The recipients were Gail Strauss, who has nearly 40 years of experience in special education and early childhood education, and And then the award also, the second award was given to Mason County's 4-H program, which is housed over in WSU Extension for us. And the award was received on behalf of 4-H by our local 4-H president, Mackenzie Dobson, who's I believe 10 years old and just a real champion for 4-H and proof of just the great work that program does, and I can't think of a better representative of 4-H than Mackenzie, and so it was great to see her and her mom there getting that award on behalf of 4-H in Mason County. So just a really great event, and appreciated having an opportunity to be there to support their work. A couple of things coming up here between today and our next meeting. We have a continuation of our Civil Service Commission interviews after this meeting. Mason Transit Authority meeting this afternoon, and then next Tuesday, Board of Health meeting. I'll be out of the area as well for the Memorial Day holiday, and so just a word of thanks for everybody who made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of the county and myself and my family. We appreciate the sacrifices many have made on behalf of our nation, and we'll be keeping them in thought and prayer on Memorial Day.
All right, we had our annual membership meeting of the ARC. Had an MTA agenda setting meeting. Then I had another meeting at the ARC. We're doing a lot in Mason County these days. They now have a program where they're working with children, especially with developmentally disabled children, to teach them what boundaries are when it comes to relationships and what relationships actually are, and what's the old expression, good touch, bad touch. I love this program that we've put together, and it's moving forward very quickly. All the work that's been done is being copyrighted right now. As I said, they're already doing it in Shelton. Next, we're going to be doing it in North Mason. I just think it's wonderful. Then we also attended a board meeting of the ARC as well. North Mason Chamber of Commerce board meeting had the going away party of Jerry Houth. I was not able to attend the 3 o'clock one, but I attended the 1 o'clock luncheon with everybody and got a chance to say goodbye to him. Very emotional. What a great man, we're going to miss him. And then we had our briefings as well. After this, we have our civil service interviews, as was mentioned. I have a constituent coming in to talk about animal control, shooting regulations and stuff. Will be here right after that. Mason Transit Authority regular meeting. Olympic College Foundation is having a gathering. Up at Harmony Hill, Union City, where they're having a Memorial Day celebration, and I've been asked to come and speak at that. I'll be meeting with past auditor Karen Herr, North Mason Community Voice, Board of Health, and that brings us back to our regular meetings.
Very good, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Trask?
Last week I was able to attend or participate in the EDC and the Shelton School District annual business plan competition. The top 6 students were able to go to, they would get a scholarship and get college credits. It's a pretty amazing opportunity for kids. Their business plans were amazing. I'm so excited about the leadership that we see in the future. And it was a tough decision to come up with the top 6 out of the 10. So let's see. I was also at the Early Learning Coalition celebration, and then it was like Education Day, I think, last week for me, because we had the Early Learning Coalition, and then we went to the chamber. They hosted an education luncheon, which included Olympic College, and then some others around the area, and it was very, very, very interesting and to see what we can offer, what Mason County has to offer. So today also we have the civil service interviews. This afternoon is the Mason Transit Authority board meeting. Tomorrow morning I have a Memorial Hall meeting, a constituent meeting, and then I'll be a cook out at the barbecue for Public Works Week. Hopefully I don't burn anything. That night, or tomorrow night, I have a Community Action Council board meeting. Thursday afternoon, the Area on Aging meeting. Turning Point meeting on Friday. And then back to the briefing. We also have my nephew coming in. And so he will be accompanying me to some of the county events to give him an idea of what a county commissioner does, and hopefully push him into leadership roles too. So.
Great. Okay, hearing no other business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, I move we adjourn.
I'll second.
Moving second that we adjourn. Stand adjourned. Have a good day, everybody.